Did you know that more than 90% of cyber attacks can be prevented? Focus Technology helps organizations create a cybersecurity framework to minimize your risk of being attacked. Let Focus Technology's certified team conduct an assessment to determine where the gaps are in your organization, no matter how big or small your company is. Utilizing the industry's best tools, Focus Technology security operations team will monitor and stop bad actors before it's too late. Contact Focus Technology today at focustsi.com and secure your company's most valuable assets. That's focustsi.com. A&B Burger in Beverly and A&B Kitchen and Bar in Boston are redefining guest expectations of a casual restaurant. Both A&B restaurant locations are focused on hospitality, creative menus, and delicious food and drinks. Now, I've been to both restaurants many times and loved everything I've tried. Get to A&B Burger on Cabot Street in Beverly or head across the street from our studio at the TD Garden to A&B Kitchen and Bar in Boston today and experience the A&B difference yourself. I promise you're going to love it. Hey everybody, it's Kim Kerrigan, your host for Kerrigan & Company, brought to you by A&B Burger. Today's co-host keeping me company is someone who can block your jump shot and sing her way into your heart. This is Kerrigan & Company.
Kerrigan & Company is here for you. Yes, Kerrigan & Company is here for you.
Hey everybody, welcome to Kerrigan & Company. So glad you could be with us. Of course, brought to us by A&B Burger. I am so excited about today's co-host who's keeping me company. This is a young woman who has a resume that makes all of us look like we are underachievers, I can assure you. So please don't feel bad about yourself when you start to hear about this young woman and what she has done. I am so happy to have with me today Ayla Brown.
Oh,
hello there,
you.
Miss Ayla Brown.
I appreciate you. You're so sweet.
Well,
Thank
it's
you.
true. When I started, going back to research you just a little bit, and I've known you for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I met you in the American Idol days, and we'll talk about that. But when I started to research you, I was like, you've got to be kidding that this
There's a
young
lot
woman-
on the resume. There's a lot of
Yeah.
different hats, I say, you know what I mean? Because I've lived many different lives.
You have. That is so
Sports.
true.
Singing, broadcasting, daughter of a politician. It's like, wait, how many fingers do I have? There's a lot going on here, but I
Oh, and then you have that little small one, Mommy.
Mother is the coolest job I have right now. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Baby number 2 on the way.
Yes, baby
and-
number 2 due in May, and it'll add to our beautifully growing family. And it's another boy, so I'm excited to say that I will have 2 boys under the age of 2 causing a ruckus for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you sure will. And they will be the best of friends. Have you thought about, I know this is kind of maybe premature, have you thought about yet baby number 3? Are you going to keep going for that girl, or what are you going to do?
That's a great question. I wish my husband was here to definitively say no. I'm like, whatever God chooses. And he's like, I'm getting a vasectomy. I'm like, all right, I guess your body, your choice, but you don't have to if you don't. So I think we're done at 2. If he has something to say about it, which he does, he's part of the partnership here, it'll just be us 4, and that's it.
When my oldest was born and we found out that he was a boy, my husband looks at me in the room while I'm laying there and, we're getting the ultrasound. And he looks at me and he goes, oh, thank goodness you'll never be alone. And I was like, where are you going? What do you mean? He said, when you have a boy, there's someone to take care of you forever. And
I
now
love
you'll
that.
have 2. So
Aw.
that's good stuff, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, that's really good. Obviously, a lot of people who are watching, they know you because they get up with you in the mornings on Morning Country over there on 102.5.
Yes.
And you work with a good friend of mine.
Yes. We call him Work Daddy Jim. I don't know what you called him.
Well,
but
I called him something else, but I won't get into that.
So Jim is our producer. I'm also really lucky in the mornings. It's not just me on the microphone. Jonathan Weirs is with me as well in the studio. So we're both hosts of the show. And from 6 to 10 on Country 102.5, people can drive to work and listen to our shenanigans. And it's like, I pinch myself a lot because I'm like, wow, this is life. I have always loved and appreciated communications. I majored in it in college, but to be able to like talk for a living is really fun.
You know, I'm so glad you just said that because I've often wondered how you ended up behind the microphone.
Yeah.
Because you obviously are a singer and you're still singing, you know, regularly.
That's correct, right.
But you pop behind the microphone. And
Yeah. Do you want to know the story of how it happened?
I do.
So I guess my like appreciation for all of this started when I was on American Idol at 17 because I had all these people being like, can we interview you? So of course I said yes, but I was really fascinated at what would happen behind the camera and the people asking me the questions. And I was like, wow, maybe someday I could do that. And I always thought maybe TV. My mom was in TV at Channel 5, Gail Huff, and I thought maybe that's the route. But then the music bug got me. It really did. And I moved to Nashville after I had graduated from college. I was just doing music. But Country 102.5 reached out to me when one of their morning show hosts went on vacation. And they said, would you like to fill in for 5 days? You know, we would send you up, we'll put you in a hotel, we'll even play one of your songs. So as a musician, I was like, count me in, let's go. I would love the opportunity. What do I have to do? And they're like, well, you have to like co-host a morning show. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Loved the experience. It lasted 5 days. I never thought anything of it. And then a year and a half later, I'm sitting outside of a taco shop in Nashville, and I get a phone call from the programming director being like, hey, a few things have changed within the morning show. Wanted to know if you would be willing to, because we loved you during the 5 days, would you be willing to come up and audition for the full-time co-host position on the morning show? And by the way, you'd have to move from, if you get it, you have to move from Nashville and move back home to Boston. And I'm thinking like, oh, darn. You know, I get to come home and see my family. I get a full-time job. I'm in the country music industry. Yeah. Oh my gosh, if I get this, I'll be so happy. And I got the job. And it's been a little over 5 years. And I just can't believe that it happened because I filled in for someone. So you never know. Lesson learned that you should take any and all opportunities that you feel like are comfortable for you because it could lead to, I don't want anyone to take my job, so I'm never going on vacation, but I am going on maternity leave.
Watch what you're explaining to everyone now.
But I really do love my job. The hours are tough, but I love it when I'm there.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to ask you because I'm someone who comes from morning world. You know, I did morning TV. I also did morning radio for a long time. And it's challenging, and it's really challenging with these little babies.
Yeah, because if you wake up at 4 and you've done a full shift, and as you know, you have to be on, right? You can't just be like, excuse me, can I take a quick snooze break? No, like you have to, your personality has to be on, you have to be prepared, etc. So when I'm done and then I switch off with my husband, who graciously gets up with our child and with our children soon to be, and then I come home from work, I switch into very quickly, I'm mommy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
That, for a now 19-month-old, is a lot of work. And it's fine, but I'm just tired all the time. And then being pregnant 7 months, I'm like, I feel it.
That'll take, if it hasn't taken it out of you yet, that's going to do it. That's for sure.
It's life, and I'm so blessed.
Well, it's also great. You started your fame, though, here in this area by being a basketball player.
Oh, thank you for saying that.
Well, it's true, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that must have been a great 4 years.
It was an awesome 4 years, and BC was always my dream school. So to be able to go to Conti Forum and be like, I have a dream of playing here, and then actually being able to step on that court for 4 years, it was the best. My parents came to every single one of our games. I would give them my laundry sometimes after games. I was still such a baby in college, but it was an awesome experience. But I still look back on that and I'm like, how did I juggle music and singing and basketball and school, and the expectations are so high.
Well, I think it got you ready for what life has brought you, which is a whole lot of juggling, which, a lot of women do, that's for sure. Singing. So you go, I know you and your husband perform together.
We do, yes.
And And I hear you, and you're terrific, by the way. You were great when you were on American Idol. I mean, and that's where I first learned that you were a singer. That's where everybody first learned you were a singer. But then you headed out and went to Nashville, and now you get that opportunity to scratch
sing.
that itch.
Yeah,
still.
and to sing with someone that I literally love with all my heart. So my husband and I met in Nashville at a singer-songwriter event at a Patriots Watch Bar in Nashville, ironically. So we were both up on stage kind of around the same time, and we just hit it off, started writing songs as friends, and it moved into falling in love, getting married, having babies, and we still do sing together. So it's a lot of fun being able to be on stage with someone that you trust, someone that you love, someone that's really talented. He pushes me so much, and I'm just really grateful for that.
That's so great. That's so great. Now, you've sang the national anthem somewhere, right?
A few places. It's like my
Ayla,
bread
is
and butter.
that the
I love the
worst?
national anthem. I literally love singing the anthem. Anyone who usually asks me if I'm available, I'm like, yes, because it's such an honor. So I don't know if you know this, it hasn't been announced yet, but I'm singing at the marathon.
Oh,
I'm singing at the Boston Marathon this year in April. So I'm so stoked that they would invite me to do that. To me, that is like one of the highest honors. So right at the starting line, there's going to be a flyover, the whole 9 yards.
Now, wait a minute. When is this baby coming?
We might have to have some EMTs on site, but I will be there waddling my way through, probably wearing this exact outfit again, because unless, David, you have to create something for me. Nothing fits right now.
You may be pushing a stroller by then, though. Who knows,
No,
right?
I can't. No, that would be a month early, but you never know. Life is crazy, so.
To me, it just feels like of all the things a singer can do, that has to be the most nerve-wracking. I mean, I just don't even know what's going through your mind. Your knees are shaking so bad before you step up there. It's amazing.
I will tell you the most nerve-wracking one that I've had thus far, knock on wood. I got asked to sing on CNN for the Republican presidential debates. You could literally hear a pin drop, and all these candidates are on stage, and you're like, do not screw up. There's a lot of pressure here. It's nationally televised, and it's not like you're at a sporting event where people are
whooping it up in the back,
drinking beer or singing along or distracted by any means. It's literally all these people in this debate setting. So that was nerve-wracking, but very very fun.
Did you have accompaniment, or were you
No, it's just me.
Oh,
I usually don't have accompaniment. It's just a cappella. So if you start a little too high, you are
you're in trouble.
Yeah, it's not good.
Oh, it's so great. Listen, I mean, I take my hat off to you. I was asked one time, if you didn't, do broadcasting, what would you do? And I said, I would love to be a singer. I have one problem. I cannot sing a note.
I don't believe
that. Well, it is true. But I have such admiration for anybody who can, and I'm so jealous of it. I can't begin to tell you. I mean, I would like to sing the national anthem.
It's God-given, so I guess if you start praying, maybe he'll help you.
I think God's saying, Kim, do everybody a favor. I've given you enough. So, Ayla, we do this thing called the Fast Five. So we ask 5 questions, and we do it in 30 seconds.
Okay.
And Pete turns on a timer for us. It's the Focus Technology Fast 5, and Focus Technology is your trusted IT partner for cybersecurity, cloud, and managed services. So are you ready for your Fast 5?
I'm so ready for this.
All right, here we go. First question, I have to make sure. Is Pete ready? All right, here we go. First question, Randy, Simon, or Paula?
Paula.
How come?
Oh, I have 30 seconds each? Okay.
No, you don't.
Because she's the nicest. I don't know. She wasn't yelling at me.
What was the best part of being an athlete?
Ooh, scoring a basket.
Toughest part of being a mom?
The constant having to be on for your child at all times, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Favorite country singer?
Morgan Wallen.
Oh, I love it. And your favorite song to sing?
The national anthem. Woo!
Oh my gosh! Did you see Morgan Wallen last?
I did.
Did you?
I did. And I brought my husband with me, and I was fangirling the whole time for another man, and I feel a little guilty about that. But I was trying to do selfies with Morgan near me, and I'm like, babe, can you take the picture? And he's like, oh my god.
No, I cannot. Is that someone you know? Do you
No,
know
I've
him?
never met him, but I'm just a fan of his songwriting and his voice, and in a lot of ways, my husband's songwriting and vocals do remind me a lot of Morgan Wallen, so that's probably why I love my husband's music.
Oh, I was going to say, does that get you out of trouble when you're there? But he reminds me of you, sweetheart.
Yeah. If I just say that to anything. No, he's a very confident man. I'm lucky to be married to someone so sweet and nice.
Talk to me about your time in Nashville. I mean, is there a star that you met, that you are taken by, or a writer that you were taken by?
Yeah, I mean, the first day that I moved to Nashville, I remember I hadn't even moved into my apartment yet, and I was just driving down the street, and I saw Trace Atkins getting out of his car, his truck, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so in Nashville. Like, there's stars everywhere. So it's very much like that anywhere you go, but it's not like the TMZ Hollywood, everyone's in your business. Like
right.
I've seen so many people out and about at bars, restaurants, and everyone is so respectful and kind because they're all there to do the same thing. There's something different about the country audience, I will say that.
But it's at the same time, I mean, it's a competitive world.
Of course.
There had to have been that kind of underlying thing.
Always. And I think in any industry, this one included, it doesn't matter where you are. It's a competition and it's competitive, and you have to just keep working at it every single day and hope for a break. And I always say to anyone doing what we do is like, if you can pay your bills doing what you love, then you've made it.
Yeah, that's so
true. You know
true.
what I mean? No matter
Absolutely.
what it is. So for me, that was singing for a long, long time until I got a full-time job on a different type of microphone, and I'm really lucky that I get to do both still.
I always tell young women especially, just be true to you. Do what feels right for you. And that's always going to, it's always going to be a winner.
It's great advice.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, we have a really fun guest coming up, don't we?
I'm so excited. One of my favorite people in the whole entire universe.
So I was hoping that he would not let me down and he would come wearing something that had my name on it. I think it worked.
It worked.
I talked to God and he said,
I know he usually wears something with my name on it. So
sorry, I didn't know. I didn't wish for that this time.
I love it.
All right, very special guest coming your way in just a moment. This is Kerrigan and Company. By now, you know how much I love going to A&B Burger in Beverly and A&B Kitchen and Bar across from the TD Garden. But did you know that A&B caters? Whether it's 4 people or 400, A&B's got you covered. Choose from sandwiches, salads, build your own burger bars, and dinner platters. Or work with the A&B team to create a custom menu just for your event. Spring is here, and that means graduation season is coming up fast. Why not treat your favorite graduate and all your guests to great food from A&B Burger? Get started by emailing events at andbburgers.com. That's events at burgers.com. You'll be glad you did. Learn more at andbburgers.com. Do you know what generative AI is and how your company can ensure employees are more productive? Focus Technology can help you master the use of Microsoft's newest tool, Copilot. This powerful tool can help your team speed up many of their daily tasks by enabling hands-on learning directly with the software. It can summarize long emails, generate drafts of long documents, and search for answers to key questions. Copilot represents a unique opportunity for businesses to accelerate their understanding of what generative AI can deliver for their company. Contact Focus Technology today to learn more at focustsi.com and bring your organization into the AI revolution. That's focustsi.com.
If you like rum, you're going to love Rumson's Rum, New England's most award-winning rum brand. Rumson creates distinctive and savory flavor profiles by hand-selecting and marrying the finest barrel-aged Caribbean rums. The spirits are then blended and finished in the New England Rum House. Choose from Rumson's Gold, Spiced, Grand Reserve, or Coffee Rum, which is smooth and sweet with a warm roasted coffee flavor, a hint of vanilla, and a decadent buttery finish. Find Rumson's at liquor stores or ask for it at your favorite restaurant. Learn more at rumsons.com. That's rumsons.com. Rumsons. Life lived, life enjoyed.
This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to you by Lucia Lighting and Design, where people in the know go for the best possible lighting and design experience. Welcome back to Kerrigan and Company. I'm Kim Kerrigan, and of course our sponsor is A&B Burger. We so appreciate everything that they do for us. If you haven't had a chance to get to A&B Burger in Beverly or A&B Kitchen and Bar in downtown Boston, just across the street from the Garden, be sure you do. My co-host today is Ayla Brown. She's keeping me company, and we're having a great time. And now we have a special guest. No. I'm going to let you introduce this guest.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, because this is someone you happen to know pretty well.
Well, we both know him well, but I'm very excited. So I met our special guest, David Josef, when I was going to say yay big, but I've been this tall. Yeah. I've been this tall for a long time. Yeah. When
David was yay big.
When I was about 10 or 11 years old, I walked in a fashion show that you had done the clothing for, and I never thought anything of it because I was so young and I was 10 years old, right? But then years later, you redesigned my mother's wedding gown for my sister's wedding. My sister wore my mom's old gown. And we reconnected, and it was the best reconnection in the world
Ever.
Because since then, David and I have been two little peas in a pod, working on crafting really fun things, being together, promoting what he was doing during the pandemic with the masks. And anytime you see anything fabulous that I'm wearing on stage for a show, almost 95% of the time, it's something that David Josef has designed and created. And
you're cheating on me? This 5%?
Yeah, well, this one because nothing fits right now. So I'm sorry, but yes. So I guess we can officially welcome David Josef to.
Hi, everybody.
It's so good to have you. I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so glad to see you, and Ayla.
You get to see, absolutely. You get to see her on a regular basis. I don't get to see you so frequently, but I certainly.
Since COVID, you haven't done as much, made as many concerts, and you keep having babies, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And
you didn't know you're going to have to go into a new line, maternity wear, huh?
I dressed Liz Walker when she was pregnant on WBC. I love doing maternity clothes.
Well, let me tell you, for those, I think everybody who's watching knows, but if they don't, David has dressed some of the most influential women, I mean, really, certainly here in Boston, and all across the country. You are a bridal designer, but you also do fabulous, fabulous pieces for women who are doing spectacular things. Just recently, Melba Moore, you've actually done a lot for her, it seems, in the last few months. Beautiful pieces. Talk to us a little bit about just as a designer, what it's like to work with all these women.
Oh, Kim, I'm so shy. I want to be serious for a moment. It's been the most insane and glorious ride. The ride but not only my superstar friends and the legends that I dress and all that stuff, but my beautiful clients. Everyone is a star to me. When a mother of the bride is walking down the aisle or the bride is walking down the aisle, she's a star. That day is her day, and I want to make sure they feel that regal, that legendary, no matter who it is, whether it's Melba Moore or Melissa Manchester or whoever, Judith Light, whoever it is I'm dressing. And every woman is the same. It's just there's a beautiful vulnerability when it comes to clothing, and they put a lot of trust in me, and it always seems to work. Yeah. We did Rondella Richardson's just now for the Ellie Fund, and she said, I want to look like springtime. I want to look like my personality. And I said, then this is how I think we should go. She said yes. She trusted. She went away on vacation. She came back, and there was a gown. Yeah. And it was really, I mean.
I think that's the positive part about David is that whenever he works with anyone from star to, well, everyone is a star, he's so great at, like, tapping into the personality and the vulnerability and, like, what they want. And David actually designed and created my wedding gown.
Yes, he did.
And it started from just conversations and just saying I wanted to look like a country princess. Okay, what does that look like? And then you just keep, like, sending you photos of inspiration. And then he came up with these, like, angel wings that came out of the fabric. Was amazing. You were like, the whole process was so comfortable from start to finish that, like, I walked down the aisle and it's just like you
floated down the aisle.
I floated like a country queen down that aisle, and it was the coolest process because from start to finish of designing anything as an artist is really fun, but doing it with another artist is even better.
But the way you create music and write it down, and you sit and you wonder and then you question. That's how it's the same thing. I'm an engineer, basically.
So do you start with a great piece of fabric?
I
good
tend to.
question.
That's how I tend to design.
Yeah.
When I meet up with a client, we meet up first, and they tell me what the needs are, where the venue is, or whatever the issue, whatever it is.
Sure.
Whether it be a celebrity on stage or one of my clients coming to Waltham. And I take it in, and I'm a doctor. Dr. Joseph. So I take it in, and then I have them come back in a couple of weeks, and I'll have sketches and swatches, and how I take in what they think they want, but I also add what I think they can wear. A lot of women are very insecure I wish I lost those 20 pounds. I wish I did. I wish I. And I'm meeting them for the first time, and I see the sensuality of who they are, or whatever it is, how tailored they could be. Like you said, it's totally a gift from God.
Yeah.
And I thank him every day, him, her, the universe, all of it.
I remember reading, and I just thought this, I've repeated this in the last 3 weeks over and over to different people. I read that, when you first started to design, you walked down Fifth Avenue one time, and you were looking window, and your designs were in Bergdorf's.
Bonateller.
Yeah.
The Bonateller windows for Christmas.
Wow.
It just,
At Christmas. And
That's like having a song on
Right,
a Billboard
right,
chart.
number one, that's right.
Number one song in Bill. It was very funny because I was in the middle of that career, and the clothes were in all the department stores. At that time, I had a showroom on 7th Avenue and did all of that. And Bonateller took my clothes, and they told me they were putting them in the windows. And you're so busy involved with the business and the financing and the next design collection and who's coming to the showroom to see and keeping it all going. I went to see the windows with my friend Karen. We took pictures and we left. It didn't even dawn on me. It didn't even strike. You know when it hit me? Is
Now.
2 years ago.
Right,
2 years
exactly,
ago,
years
as
later.
we're writing this book.
Yeah.
David Josef, Every Dress Has a Story.
Yeah.
And it was like, holy crap. That was iconic. That was a moment. But you know what? I mean, there are so many of those things. And again, in writing this book, how I'm seeing my life lay out in front of me. When I was I've told this story, but I haven't told it to you. When I was a young 13, 14-year-old kid, I knew I was gay, but I wasn't sexual. I wasn't doing anything, but I knew what my attraction was. But I was also bullied all the time at school. I sewed. And I never not sewed. I never hid it from anybody. I'm realizing now how brave a little 13, 14-year-old kid I was. I would make my clothes knowing I was going to get bullied the next day at school, but I'd wear them anyway, and I'd get bullied. But I would come home. My parents had just divorced. My mother was off working. My older brother was in college, and my younger brother, God knows where. And I would go to the basement where the sewing machines were, because my mother did what I do, and I would make my clothes for the next day. And I would not hurt myself, although the thoughts had gone through, because it's just too hard sometimes to just have people waiting for you to beat the crap out of you. It's horrible. And I would sit and sew, and I would listen to a singer who got me through it all. One particular album called Home to Myself by singer Melissa Manchester. Now it's 45 years later, and I make all of Melissa Manchester's clothes.
I know you do.
So it's this crazy,
really amazing.
crazy, beautiful story, and I've had the opportunity to sit on her couch in her home and tell her that story, and it was very
What was her
emotional.
reaction?
Oh, it is.
Very emotional.
Yeah. I
It
can
was
imagine.
emotional. It was very emotional
It
for
was.
me, and I'll tell you more. There's another part of that story. It was lovely, and Melissa said, I hear that a lot from young gay guys, young gay women who grew up with my music, that it saved them. And I said, what is that like for you? And I have the same answer when people say to me, what is it like for you to dress these and dress all that? It's just who I am. It's not anything big. I mean, it's a quiet thing. Like that song by Kander and Ebb. It's lovely, but it's so intimate. It's so personal. And in that moment, Melissa got up to go get grapes for us out of the kitchen. And she said, oh, and congratulations on that award you won. And I said, oh, thank you. And I was humble. And she turned to me and she did, excuse me, I'm going to point in your face. She went just like this to me. No. What did I do something wrong? She said, you don't have to feign humility here. The reason you're here, sitting on my couch, and we're working to you're a collaborator with me, which was a great word.
a-
Right.
Collaborators, is because you've worked for it, you've earned it, and you deserve it.
Absolutely.
And in that moment, I knew my value. It's like it hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
When someone you respect
Well,
and have loved your whole life.
absolutely.
Right, so it's very validating.
Yeah.
And it's just-
Absolutely.
it changed my way of thinking of how I work. And
And you've been
I've
busier
realized-
ever since,
and-
I'm sure.
And I've realized the artist. I don't like to sit down and think I'm an artist because,
Oh, I
but
think you are an
no,
artist,
I
David.
realize now that there is an
Yeah.
artistry that goes with it.
Oh.
When you're yeah.
David,
yeah, now I
anybody
know.
who has an eye, who looks at a piece of fabric and looks at a woman and says, I can see that. That's artistry, and I see the gowns that you frequently don't brag about where they're going. You don't say who's purchased them, but sometimes you'll put them on social media and they'll be, just on a bust. And they are so magnificent and so beautiful. And I think to myself, I don't know who that woman is, but I hope she lives up to that gown. Because
what
I
a
just
lucky
see,
woman.
yeah, absolutely.
Listen,
I
half of it
just
is
see,
my husband,
so-
too.
Well,
And we've been working together for 35 years. We're
Yeah.
together 43 years, but 35 years working together. Oh, Kim and Ayla, you don't know the monster we've created
Oh
here.
my gosh, stop.
Oh, you have no idea. David, the outfit you're doing for Melba, the one we just did this past weekend, no. I like the fabric, but I think it's a little too much. You've got too much sleeve. She's only I said, Danny, I know what I'm doing. I know you know what you're doing. And then it turns into I can't say, could you shut them? I can't do that. 'Cause I have to be nice. And I said, let me get it ready. And if you don't agree with the vision,
No.
because this is an intimate club,
Right.
I can't put a train or a gown that's got all this on her.
Sure.
It has to be a little more streamlined, a little more. But I want, when Melba's doing her Let the Sun Shine, it was all about her Broadway stuff. So it started
Right.
with hair and Aquarius and all that. But it was
Sure.
big. And I wanted that dress to just reflect the light, and I knew she'd be backlit. So I wanted it to be sheer. So it's all technical. I mean, as much as it's a gorgeous creation, it's also it has to work in the moment. So it all worked. And I will say that when it was over, he said, "Oh, you were right. Yeah, you were right."
Well, remember, there's an artist and there's a worker bee.
Yeah, this is The Apprentice. Yeah.
All right, listen, we're going to do a special Fast Five for you. Now, we don't
I get a
usually do
Fast
this
Five.
for our guests. We just do it with our
I'm going to
co-hosts.
drink my vodka. Wait.
But
Oh, yeah, you
we
wish.
want to do this. We want to try this on David. So here we go. Are you ready for our Focus Technology Fast Five?
I'm very zen.
All right. Pete, can you get a timer for us, my friend? Because we want to make sure we stay within that 30 seconds. Here we go. First,
Yes.
jeans or a tux?
Jeans.
Design that you are the most proud of.
I can say two.
Okay.
Ayla Brown's wedding gown. But that's true.
Okay,
That was
not just
magnificent.
just because she's in the room.
Not because she's in the
Okay.
room. That was a work of art, and we got to be there. And and the second one is the Melba Moore when she received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the NAACP in Los Angeles. It was an incredible coat and a dress underneath it. They used that. They photographed it incredibly for her album cover, her new album. Yeah. Okay.
Excellent. Who is the easiest star you've ever worked with?
They're all easy. They're all lovely. Every single one. I don't attract difficult people. I don't clients, stars, any of them. Nope.
Favorite movie of all time?
Moonstruck.
Oh, very good. And favorite designer beside yourself?
Bob Mackie.
There you go. Excellent.
There's a theme to the last two.
Yeah.
Answers.
I don't think. No, Moonstruck just is. But I started designing clothes as a little kid,
And he
from
was
watching the
he
Sonny
was-
and Cher show. It was
Absolutely.
everything. And then we've had the joy of both meeting him and Cher
Well, you
at
know,
different events.
I got to
cool.
tell you, and you design somewhat like Bob Mackie when I look at these Broadway stars,
Yeah.
and because he designed big,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
you know,
And then-
bold,
and then
yet
the sexy and
yeah,
fluid, all of it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm not at all surprised that Bob Mackie is your favorite. You have been a delight.
I'm done.
Well,
We need to do a part two. It's pretty clear.
He's already booking him for
Right.
another show.
Wait, I want to wave to my fans out the window. And then, mwah, mwah. Yeah.
No, just kidding.
There is in my mind.
David Josef, my question, in his mind, he can hear them in millions of people. We should have had you sing the national anthem to all of his fans.
And I could have done a fashion show.
Next time.
Listen, if people do want to get hold of you who are watching, maybe we've got, mothers who are going to be, kids are getting married or brides out there. How do they get hold of you?
They can just Google me. My phone number is everywhere. I'm, just David Josef with an F, Josef.
Yes.
And if they're young, beautiful young men, they can call me personally.
Oh my God! You're a married man. Stop.
He can film it.
We cannot take him anywhere.
No, never. I've never been in an actual appropriate situation.
No, I was so good, but right up to the end.
Right up to the end.
Right
It's
up to the
like,
end.
come on.
I know. It came out of my shell.
Mwah. Thank you for being here. This is Garrigan and Company. I have to tell you, folks, I think lighting in your home is one of the most important things that you can do to keep the house updated. And when I need new lighting, I head to Lucia Lighting and Design. Their spectacular 10,000 square foot showroom inside a beautiful mansion in Lynn, Massachusetts is decorated with both architectural and decorative lighting in every single style. From crystal and traditional to contemporary and modern, the selection is absolutely unmatched. Whenever I'm looking for new lighting, as I mentioned, I head to Lucia Lighting and Design. And when I'm not sure exactly what I'm looking for, I rely on the expert guidance of their design team. I know that they can help me. Learn more and book your appointment today. It's lucialighting.com.
Big Night Studios is now open for all content creators. Are you looking to start a podcast? Looking to expand your brand? Then visit bignightmedia.com. Check out our rates, check out the studio, and see all the podcasts we have to offer. That's bignightmedia.com.
This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to you by Great Point Wealth Advisors. If you're close to retirement and want a better plan for the future, connect with greatpointwealth.com today. That's Great Point Wealth. They can help. Welcome back to Kerrigan and Company, brought to us today by A&B Burger. My co-host, keeping me company today, is Ayla Brown. We're having a good time.
Oh, we're having a great time. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you here. We've suddenly been surrounded by art. I don't know if you've noticed.
My heart is really happy. I love hanging out with artists. I feel inspired. I'm gonna try and design a dress when I leave, and then maybe take up painting.
And while you're doing it, sing.
Yeah, and sing at the same time.
All right. Well, joining us today, and who's responsible, the artist behind these fabulous pieces, is Giovanni DeCunto, and it's great to have you with us, Giovanni.
Oh, it's great to be here.
I don't know if you remember this, but you and I met years ago. You actually were on my Fox 25 morning show, and we met, and you had some fabulous pieces there then, so it's wonderful to reconnect with you and to see these great pieces. You live here locally.
Yes, I have a gallery down in the leather district.
Absolutely.
I didn't know there was a leather district in Boston.
Well, it's right in between Chinatown, South Station, and Seaport.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
I'm right in the
There
middle
you
of
go.
all of that.
Nice.
So, and my understanding is the gallery is really beautiful, and I have never been there. I apologize for that.
You're invited.
Thank you very much. I'm going to take you up on that, but I know
You're
you've got some.
invited too.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I know you've got gorgeous pieces. I want to just talk about the pieces that are here.
Sure.
But before we do, I know that you are inspired by really pop culture, right?
Well, part of what I do is pop culture. The underlying part of my paintings have to do with how we've traveled from the Renaissance to where we are now, because it was the last spike of human development that we had, and I wanted to be able to track that. I think the individuals that I paint are the personalities that make up who we are, but there's an underlying language base that comes from what happened with the Renaissance and what happened with the Impressionist and the pop culture that came out of it. So I try to blend them all together and make my message.
Come up with these incredible, these incredible pieces of art. Let's start with the one that's between you and Ayla, this piece of Jackie Kennedy. This is an actual painting, which is absolutely beautiful. Talk to us about this piece.
So that painting came about, I do a lot of stuff with R&R auctions, and Bobby Livingston is a really good friend, and all of the information that I got from that is when Jackie got out of the plane the day that the assassination happened, and everybody was so hopeful about America and where we were coming from. This is right before that happened.
So let's keep in mind that we have some people who are listening and who can't see this. So I want to explain to everyone, this piece is a close-up shot of Jackie smiling. She's in the pillbox hat and the Chanel suit. But it's done in a lot of sort of gray and silver colors versus the pink that we know she had on that day.
Yeah. Well, most of the technology at that point was black and white. So that's why I painted it. I tried to paint it true to
To the
its
actual
time
photograph?
in history.
Yeah.
Why did you feel so strongly about Jackie Kennedy?
Well, I think it was when America had more faith and more hope and more desires to going forward. Now we seem to be scrambling a bit, and you know it's all part of like coming from one age to another. We came from the industrial age, and now we're in the technological age. We have two different generations living within the same
Right.
age.
Absolutely.
Before that, it was the first spike was fire. Second was the Renaissance. Now we're in the third, and I think they're going to spin faster and faster.
Sure.
So,
Absolutely.
one way of identifying, for me, to be able to identify the people that are bringing us and had positive like energy going forward is who I paint.
Okay, so having said that, there's a piece sitting here to my right, and it's Taylor Swift.
Right.
So talk to me about what made you decide. I think it's pretty obvious. This is obviously a piece that's been done recently.
Yes.
What made you decide
So
she was worthy?
I didn't have a clue.
Of
Right.
Taylor Swift?
I didn't have a clue.
You're kidding.
I did not have a clue.
Good for you.
And as I was pondering what to paint next, it kept coming like into the studio, like, why haven't you painted this? And I got 2 more paintings of her that I'm doing right now because I'm trying to really figure out
What's so special?
who she is,
Who she
right?
is?
Well, not only special, but the reason why, like, her gain in popularity is not from just, it doesn't happen by happenstance. It happens by resolve, and there's a need for her to be where she is, I think.
In your mind, I know you said you've got a couple more Taylor Swift pieces that you're working on, but is there something coming up? Are you discovering something on the horizon that's becoming
what
a
I'm
painting in your mind?
That's what I'm in the process of
Yeah.
doing, and then, I deal with like quantum physics and all that stuff in more abstract work. So
You do.
Yeah.
So there's work that's not
there's
just.
all layers.
I see. So not necessarily just these kinds of profile type of photos, but there's also other types of paintings.
Yeah, I try to do these types of paintings for people because they can identify with them.
Right.
And the other ones is like more. It's like you got to start the past, present, and future. You always got to have that going on.
Yeah.
And I think when you have that kind of semblance going on, what it does is it as far back as you can pull something is as far as you're going to go forward.
I think it's fascinating the way that you paint. I really do. First off, you do beautiful work, and we'll put this on social media as well so people can see it for those who are listening to this podcast.
Awesome.
But I think it's just fascinating the way that you get to these pieces of art. It really is. And
So I studied at the University of Padua that was formed in 1247. So I got a good base to where we're coming from in my education, and then I started hanging out. The first museum I got in and where I was MIT. So I've tried to really go with, and I studied all of the Baroque painters and all of the Impressionist painters, and got all that information down. And once I got that information, I threw all my tools away, because each tool would identify a time or a place or and signify like a style, and I wanted to create a style from those styles that would generate itself into the future. So I just paint from the tubes of paint.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So it's all very direct. It's action painting with Jackson Pollock was very influential in understanding that. I never touched the paint.
Wow.
I'm not
Fascinating.
present.
That is,
So,
yeah, that's unbelievable. How can people see your paintings?
They can go to GiovanniDeCunto.com.
Okay.
They can Google my name. I just went the other day. There's like pages and pages.
Congratulations,
Good for you.
Yeah, I looked up and all of a sudden, wow, like here we are.
That's so great. Giovanni, thank you so much. This has really been interesting and continued success. We can't wait to see who you paint next.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, I'm looking at you.
This is Kerrigan and Company. Is your life getting more complex? Maybe jobs are changing, you're nearing retirement, shifting family dynamic, uncertainty about your financial future. It may be the right time to contact our sponsor, Great Point Wealth Advisors, for holistic planning and advice. Great Point Wealth Advisors is a registered investment advisory firm with offices in Boston and Danvers, Massachusetts. Listen to their short form podcast, Great Points, on most streaming platforms or contact them at greatpointwealth.com. That's greatpointwealth.com. Well, it's time to wrap up Kerrigan and Company. This episode brought to us by A&B Burger. Ayla Brown has been keeping me company today. This has been so fun, right?
Thank you for having me.
Isn't it great?
Yes, now I'm hungry for an A&B burger. Mostly because it sounds so good, but also because it's my initials. So I feel like I should definitely go there soon.
So you know that A&B is, Tom Holland owns it, and that's his son's initials, A and B.
Fun.
So it's cute, but I hadn't thought about
Yes.
that. That is Ayla Brown, exactly. Well, listen, you're a saint because I know you get up early and you're a busy, busy woman, and I know what that's like. You get up early to do what?
I am on Country 102.5 on the morning show. So if anyone is driving to work and maybe you're listening to this podcast from elsewhere, it doesn't have to be local. You can still stream us if you go to country1025.com. And then if you do want to hear my music, which I still do as well, you can find all the music and information on AylaBrown.com.
Yeah. You guys, you got one more gig, you said, before the baby.
One more gig. I mean,
Are you
besides
still-
a couple national anthems, which I'm really excited about, but one more 3-hour, up there on stage singing songs. So wish me luck. Wish the baby
absolutely.
luck.
And most importantly, good luck with the baby. I know
Thanks.
it's going to be great, and you're going to have that gorgeous family, 2 little boys, and a husband who loves you dearly. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks, Kim.
Really enjoyed it. All right, everybody, remember, you can get this podcast anywhere you get your podcasts, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Kerrigan and Company. To find out who will keep me company and be my co-host on the next episode, be sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. Kerrigan and Company is recorded at the Big Night Studios at the TD Garden in Boston. You can view the podcast on YouTube and listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure you tell a friend. The executive producer of Kerrigan and Company is David Thompson. Our engineer is Peter Hurley, and our social media managers are Grace Kerrigan, Colby Thompson, and Riley Thompson. See you next time.
Yes, Kerrigan and Company is here.